Hello everybody, this is Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, back one more time. Today I'm going to go over the PlayStation 3 games that I have in my collection. While I don't have nearly as many of these as I do Xbox 360 games, I mainly don't buy many games, especially because I don't enjoy the whole having to install the game on my system. My PlayStation 3 crapped out on me while I was unemployed. A little over 3 years ago. And I had the original first model that was completely backwards compatible and everything. And it was the largest memory capacity of those systems. I think it was like 500 gigs, possibly. I can't remember exactly. But I sent it out for repair, and when I got it back, they ended up getting rid of the one that I sent them and just sent me a brand new one. The only thing was it had the smallest amount of memory that these systems were able to have, and I think it was like 30 gigs or something like that, maybe 60. So when I re-downloaded all the games that I had purchased online, all my my digital purchases, it basically took up the whole memory, and maybe like 3 games will fit on there at a time like this, and I just really hate the fact that, number one, they kind of screwed me like that, and number two, that it's kind of required. You have no option to not install it. I'd rather put up with longer load times than have it installed on my system. I hate it. I really do. And I'm not looking forward to doing that for the next-gen systems, the PS4 and the Xbox One, when I do eventually pick those up. So I try to avoid buying games for the PS3 as much as possible, especially if it's a multi-platform game. But when it comes to the originals, yeah, you're damn right I'm buying them for this. So, without further ado, let's get into the games I purchased. Starting with Alice Madness Returns. I'm a huge fan of American McGee, the original Alice, which actually is a bonus on here. It doesn't play quite as well as it did on the PC with a controller, but it's still the fact that I get to play it on a TV as big as mine is pretty awesome. And this game is actually no slouch either. It is very, very fun. Back to the Future, the game. I did have all of the downloads. I downloaded episode by episode. And because of the limitations of the system that I now own, I ended up just deleting them all and just buying the game itself because it'd be easier and it doesn't take as much memory up on my system. Batman Arkham Asylum. This is an awesome game. Amazing. This one does come with the exclusive Joker levels. And yeah, I've never beaten it, which is why I've never played the second one in the series yet, and I still haven't picked up the third. But it will happen. Like I just said, Batman Arkham City is the sequel. I haven't played it yet. The next game is what I think is one of the most underrated games for the PlayStation 3 that came out in 2013. And it really upset me when I saw that, I think it was Watch Mojo, had this voted the worst game of 2013. It makes no sense. I think it's a load of horse shit. That is beyond two souls. Is it a bunch of QuickTime events? In some cases. You do get to control your character a lot. The story in this is what got me the most. Between this and The Last of Us, the story in this game got me so involved, I just did not want to put the controller down. I wanted to see what happened next. That whole scene where you're homeless is just insanely sad, and it's just... everything about this game just drew me in. And it is literally an interactive movie. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, this does what Final Fantasy 13 apparently tried to do and failed. I love this game. I can't say enough good things about it. And the best thing is the choices. Like, for example, I had rented this game and I was capturing footage for it for another show that I do called TOASTY. And in it came to a point where my character was on a motorcycle and there was a roadblock ahead. And you have a split second to use the ghostly character Aiden that is connected to her to help you bust through the barricade. Well, I didn't react fast enough, and I hit the barricade and was captured. So what happened was my character gets captured by the police, put into a paddy wagon, and is being shipped off to jail or whatever. And I end up having to possess one of the police, having him shoot everybody in the back of the paddy wagon, and then on top of that, capping himself just so she can get freed, and then the game progresses from there. Well, I had captured the footage without any sound. So I went back and started from the very beginning with everything hooked up correctly this time. And that time I did make it through the barricade. And what happened after that was I end up demolishing an entire town. I go into this small little town, and the cops come to try to stop me and arrest me, and I end up destroying everything in sight. And I was like, God damn, this is like one of the most epic things I've ever played. It's amazing. If you have not picked this game up, don't listen to what everyone else is saying. Seriously, make your own decisions. This game is awesome as far as I'm concerned. It is one of my favorite games of all time right now. Call of Duty Black Ops. Not really fond of this one. Like the Modern Warfare games more, like Modern Warfare 3. Pretty cool conclusion to the Modern Warfare trilogy. Yeah, I saw the twist coming a mile away, but whatever. Crysis 2 Limited Edition, really cool first-person shooter. I still haven't played the third one, but I do have the first one downloaded on my Xbox 360. But the fact that Hans Zimmer did the music for this is pretty awesome. Dante's Inferno, the Divine Edition. It's like a clone of God of War with a lot of weird, creepy religious imagery, which isn't a bad thing, even though I'm not a religious person myself. I do find that kind of stuff interesting, and this game certainly is that, even though it's not the best game ever made. Dead Island, the game that disappointed everybody after that amazing commercial that they released. I didn't expect the game to be like that. How can you maintain something that depressing and bleak and have it be fun? So I knew that when I got the game, it wasn't going to be anything like that, so it played right up to me. I was fine with it. It's a pretty cool game. Demon Souls, one of the hardest games ever made from what I understand. I still haven't opened it up. I'm actually afraid to do so because I don't want to get my butt absolutely handed to me. But when I saw that this was from Atlas, I was like, I got to pick it up because that's going to be a sought-after collector's item in the future. Here's the game that took forever to come to consoles, Duke Nukem Forever. Is it as bad as everyone makes it out to be? No, I don't think so. Just from the fact that this was being made back in, the late 1990s to the early 2000s, it just shows in the gameplay. And I take it as an old-school throwback to what shooter or first-person shooters used to be like, just with modern generation graphics, which aren't even that great to begin with. So therefore, I was not really disappointed. I got exactly what I was expecting. Is it a good game? It's not great, but it's fun. It's entertaining. It is what it is. It's Duke Nukem. I don't know why people bitched about it as much as they did. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Yes. I've been meaning to get back into this epic game, but I just had not had the time to devote to it yet. But I am looking forward to that moment when I decide, yes, you're going to start playing through Skyrim. Awesome game. El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. Here's another weird one that's got a lot of weird religious imagery that I find really fascinating. It's a beat 'em up. It isn't also just like God of War, which isn't a bad thing. If you're going to copy from the best. But yeah, this is a unique game. I haven't played through it yet. I am going to do so very soon. As you can tell, I'm a God of War fan. God of War Origins Collection. This has the 2 PlayStation portable games on it. And then there's the God of War Collection, which has the first 2 God of War games for the PlayStation 2 remastered in HD. And then God of War 3, which, I haven't played it yet. I haven't had a chance to. I'm a huge fan. I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. I still haven't bought the new God of War game. Yeah, I'm a bad fan. GoldenEye Reloaded 007. This is a port of the Wii version of this game, which was a remake of the original GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. Not the best thing I've ever played, but it certainly is better than some of the other James Bond games that have come out over the years, like Agent Under Fire and From Russia with Love. One of my favorite PlayStation 3 games is Heavenly Sword. This was done by the people that made Enslaved for the... I think that did come out for the PlayStation 3 also, but I have it for the Xbox 360. It's a motion capture game that has an epic story that is really, really tragic. It's done by Andy Serkis, plays Gollum in the Lord of the Rings movies. And the main character here is played by Anna Torv from Fringe. It's an awesome brawler, so much fun. The story is literally enthralling. I mean, I could not get enough of it. I played through this in about a week. and I did not regret it. And I've been meaning to go back and play through it again because it is that much fun. There's another game from Quantic Dream, the people that made Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain. It's a murder mystery that's kind of like an interactive Seven, and you get to play as a bunch of different characters and see events from their points of view. Really sick, really disturbing, but another one of those games that, yeah, maybe a bunch of QuickTime events, but the story is what matters, and the story is awesome. The Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection, remastered in HD. Yeah, both of these games are awesome. I know a lot of people that I know personally were not fans of Ico. I thought Ico was awesome. It was a great puzzle adventure game. But yeah, I still want to get the actual PlayStation 2 versions of this. Infamous and Infamous 2, two superhero open world games like Grand Theft Auto. A lot of fun. Those are highly, highly recommended by me. When I get a PlayStation 4, I'm assuming that the new Infamous for that is going to be one of the first games I buy. And then one fighting game that came out of nowhere and completely kicked my ass is Injustice: Gods Among Us. And I bought the season pass for this also, so I have all the downloadable content. This is an awesome fighting game. If you love Mortal Kombat, this is that. And it's made better. And I love DC. DC is one of my favorite comic book companies. I prefer it over Marvel for some reason. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. So this game is right up my alley. The play controls are awesome. The character models, everything about it is just pristine. I cannot say enough good things about it. And this game was made like 5 blocks away from where I live. No shit. Jak and Daxter Collection, HD remasters of all 3 Jak and Daxter games for the PlayStation 2. Haven't opened it yet, but I have played those other games and they are awesome. Lair. I purchased this when it first came out for my PS3, and I sold it about a week later because the controls were broken. I could not get the hang of the dragon flying controls at all, and it pissed me off so much that I was just like, you know what, the hell with this game, it's gone. So I sold it. And then I found out later that they had introduced a patch a few weeks later that fixed all those problems, and then I ended up going back and repurchasing it again. And you know what, the game's not bad. I actually enjoy it quite a bit. L.A. Noire, haven't opened it yet because I don't want to have to install it on my goddamn system, which is why I will never buy a Grand Theft Auto game for my PlayStation 3. But I hear great things about it. I do want to play it. I'm actually thinking about upgrading to one of the new models of PlayStation 3 that has a larger hard drive just so I can play it. And then here's my favorite game of 2013, The Last of Us. What can I say about this that hasn't already been said? It is amazing. By the Naughty Dog people that made all the Uncharted games, which are some of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, Last of Us. Storyline is... They need to make this into a movie. As long as they don't make a sequel to this. Do not ruin it with a sequel. Just leave it as it is. This is enough. This is all we need. Little Big Planet, Game of the Year edition, has extra content that was valued over $30. This is a really fun platformer with a lot of content that the game players can create and share online. It's a really fun game. This I purchased not too long ago at a half-price books. I didn't read the back of it before I bought it. I was just like, oh, look, it's like $3. Why not? Mag. It turns out it's an online-only first-person shooter. And I was like, I'm not into those types of games. So I was like, well, it's just one for the collection. I'll probably never even play it. Another awesome game, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Super amazing. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm sure you all know just how awesome that game is. Then we come to Mortal Kombat, which is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan in general. And this came out while I was unemployed. And I needed something to keep me entertained because I was pretty depressed back then. And I picked this up. It's the only game I purchased while I was unemployed. I purchased the season pass with it, so I downloaded all the extra characters. And yeah, this game, they reinvented it in the best way possible. It is so much fun. I still play it. And funnily enough, this game was made not 6 blocks from my house. Yeah, the NetherRealms Studios is right over on Addison. And then there's also Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. While not my favorite Mortal Kombat game, it's still Mortal Kombat, even though all the blood's been taken out. Well, not all the blood, but like fatalities that are gross. But it's got DC in it too, which is awesome. And I love the combination of the two, even though the storyline is goofy as all hell. It's still fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Yeah, it's the ripoff of Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo systems, just with all PlayStation characters. And you know what? It's not that bad. I actually enjoy the hell out of this game. It's a fun little party-style beat-em-up. I can't complain. It's got Nathan Drake in it, and Nathan Drake is awesome. Portal 2, puzzle game made by Valve. I still haven't played it. I still haven't beaten the first one, so I'm not going to play the second one until I get it. But I got this for a cheap price, so I wasn't going to pass that up. The reboot of Prince of Persia, which I didn't feel needed a reboot at all, just because people were like, oh my god, that Prince got so dark in those last couple of games. Yeah, they rebooted it, and it's not that great. I was not a fan of this one. Resistance Fall of Man, Resistance 2, and Resistance 3, which I still haven't opened because I've never beaten the second one. But, yes, these games are pretty amazing. I do believe there's a fourth one, or there will be a fourth one, but whatever the case may be, I will be buying it because I really enjoy this series. Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. It's like all the classic Sega Genesis games, and when you beat those games, you can unlock like an arcade version of that game, or a Master System game, or maybe a Game Gear game. And I know that if I beat Phantasy Star 2, is it either 2 or 3, you unlock Phantasy Star 1 for the Sega Master System, which is pretty awesome. But getting to play the Streets of Rage and the Sonic games and Altered Beast is pretty awesome. Street Fighter X Tekken. It's a really bizarre crossover game I never thought I'd ever see happen in my lifetime. But it's actually pretty freaking cool. I'm not the biggest Tekken fan, but it's really rad. Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. Yeah, I'm really getting sick with all the re-releases of this game. I've repurchased it each time because I'm an idiot. And then, like, a month later, they're like, oh, guess what? There's another one coming out. So I'm glad this was the last one. But you know what? Because I'm getting back into collecting, I might just go back and get them all again anyway, just so I can have them. But this game is super fun. It's Street Fighter. How can it not be fun? 3D Dot Game Heroes. This is one of my diamond in the rough games. It's like playing a comedic version of Legend of Zelda with all super pixelated characters. The sense of humor of it is really great. It pokes fun at 8-bit gaming every chance it gets. And it's really, really awesome. I highly recommend this to anyone looking for something different. Twisted Metal, which is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's definitely harder than the other games in the series, but that's not a bad thing because it keeps me coming back. Yeah, this one is online and all that shit. It's amazing. I play this game at least once every couple of weeks. I can't get enough of it. I've always loved Twisted Metal, and I hope they keep going with the series on the PS4. And then my favorite series on the PlayStation 3 is Uncharted. Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. My favorite is definitely Uncharted 2, which is the first video game in the history of my video gaming where I actually cried. When a certain character, you think that they die, I was so upset I had to pause the game and I was literally like crying. Like I welled up. Yeah, that's a pinnacle moment in my gaming history. But Naughty Dog did amazing work on these games. The gameplay is awesome. The stories are awesome. Everything about it is just pitch perfect. I wasn't the biggest fan of Part 3, basically because I was like, if that's the way they're going to end this series, that is pretty goddamn lame. But whatever. From it sounds like we're getting a fourth game, so maybe it'll be fixed in that. But anyway, awesome games. The next game is one that was suggested to me by Pete Dorr in one of his videos where he went over his favorite shoot-'em-ups of whatever year it was. And that's Under Defeat HD Deluxe Edition. It's a port of a Japanese Dreamcast game that we never got over here where you play as a helicopter. It's a vertical scrolling shooter. You have no control of the screen. It scrolls automatically. And you only can shoot in 2 different angles. And it's very strategic to make sure you're at the right angle to take on the enemies that you have coming at you. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really hard, like most shoot-'em-ups are. But this deluxe edition comes with, there's a lot of downloadable content and patches that are automatically installed. There's a digital art book, a soundtrack, and there's an in-game chopper, a specific one that you get just with buying this. Pretty cool game. I'm glad that I listened to him and picked it up. It's fun. And then there's Wet, which is an action game where you play as a female assassin. It's like playing a Robert Rodriguez movie. It's pretty awesome. I had a lot of fun playing it. It's not as bad as people made it out to be. And it's by Bethesda. I mean, come on, they made Skyrim. And that's it for my PlayStation 3 collection. I hope you enjoy these videos. There is one more collection video coming up that is just going to be about all the odds and ends that I have in my collection. That I don't have enough games for those systems available to me that I can't devote an entire episode to them, so I just threw them all into one. And then after that, it's all new content. Reviews, pickup videos, everything. Maybe some rant videos, depending on if I'm really passionate about a subject or not. So, yeah, that's it. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to answer anything that you ask of me. If you have any ideas for episodes, like a game you want me to review or a topic you want me to discuss, please feel free to let me know. And until then, I am Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off.